Welcome to a very special edition of Anthony's Fantasies. And we're in the Bow Street Maturation store, standing with Silent Distillery number 1, Silent Distillery number 2,
Correct.
and the legend that is Ger Garland. I mean, my life just keeps getting better and better. This is ridiculous. We have both of these in auction, I'm sure, as everybody knows at this stage. And I thought it only appropriate that we have Ger here to talk about them, because you are Mr. Middleton. You are one of the best spokesmen that they have. I was trying to get Kevin O'Gorman, but he did say he was busy doing something else. I don't know what that was about.
Making more whiskey.
Well, they could have been doing that.
Making the Silent Distillery of
number
the
3,
future.
yeah, he could do number 3 and number 4. He's not making it. Ger, I wanted to have you because I've been talking about them in our previous videos, and some of my facts might have been a bit fudged, as is the case with Anthony. And I thought, you know these products. You've had the privilege of tasting them along with me.
Yeah.
But you've also had to talk to publicans and prestigious places like Adair Manor and that have these bottles and have them available. So I thought it'd be great to have you on board and to talk to you about it. Start off with number 1. It is 45 years old?
45 years old, laid down by Max Crockett, our master distiller emeritus, his father, so Barry Crockett's father,
Yep.
in 1974. And it spent 45 years aging in a third fill sherry butt, 500 litre butt, and out of that butt came 48 bottles.
So only 48 bottles.
48 bottles
so
after
500 litre butt, which is that what's beside you.
Absolutely, or here, or you can
Or
look
there
at
at the back,
background,
yeah.
background it rather.
So
Yeah.
a barrel that size,
Yes,
filled in 1974.
a third time it had been filled.
Yeah. So just for anybody, a third fill means that it had previous to. So its first fill would be direct from America. First time filling it.
Well, because it was a butt, it was from
Sherry,
Spain.
yeah, sorry.
So
no,
it would have
yeah.
originally held sherry, and
Yeah.
then when it came to us, we called the first time that we put new make in a spirit or Irish whiskey into it, we call it first fill.
Okay.
So then it was filled a second time as well, after that whiskey was emptied out, and that whiskey was aged in air a second time and taken out, and then the third time is what we have here.
And the reason for a third fill would be that it tones down the influence of the cask on the whiskey itself.
So if you imagine a barrel is rich, full of wood sugars and compounds like vanillin and vanillic acid and other compounds like furfural and all sorts of this.
Big words, lots and lots of big words.
So I'm basically talking about wood character that
Yeah.
would be transferred and interact with the acids and alcohols in the whiskey and break down and create wonderful other flavours and develop over long periods of time. And time is the essential element here that creates something like this exceptional whiskey.
And it would have been a decision by Max to put it into that. Again, the foresight to do it was phenomenal in his time. But he would have been in that, he would have been filling into that, knowing that because it was a third fill, it would have toned down the wood effect essentially on it. And it softens it over time, if I'm not mistaken, as well. It makes it...
So the idea of a third fill is if you're going to age whiskey for an extended period of time, it's a clever or a smart way to put something into a barrel that has been used previously, because then you have less of those wood compounds within the wood that are going to, maybe after, say, 30 years or 25 years in a first fill, but it might have been overwhelmed, and that's not always the case, but as a rule that might be a little bit overwhelming on the whiskey. But from trying this that it's incredibly balanced. There's fruit there, there's sweetness, there's complexity. The mouthfeel is exceptional, it's silky, and what I would call, what I was describing earlier, it's like an echo or a ghost of peat there as well.
It's, and one of the things that I've heard people question when discussing Silent One was, why would it be a peat? It's not that it's a peat cask, as you say, I think that's the right term. It's an echo or a ghost of peat.
And basically Barry Crockett, when he was a child, and I've talked to him about this, I'm very lucky to know the man. He's a really lovely man. He's just so knowledgeable. He literally is the living embodiment of Irish whiskey, as far as I can see.
I can imagine.
And he said to me, as a child walking through the distillery, his father was master distiller, and he basically grew up.
He was born in the cottage or something like that.
Well,
he lived in it.
He lived in it,
Yeah,
definitely,
really.
and the the aroma, that phenolic aroma that you get from the reeking of grain from turf, basically going through it. And he vividly remembers that as a child, because there was a product essentially that would have had a peated element in it. But this whiskey wasn't destined for any whiskey in particular. This was laid down to see what could happen.
Yeah.
And when it was laid down by Max Crockett, I'm pretty sure he knew he would probably never see what it was to become, because it was so far in the future. And amazing. It's like a person who plants a tree.
Yeah, they're never going to sit in the shade. Yeah, the story is. And that is true, that carries true. I mean, the work that Kevin's doing now, the work that Brian done before him, that Barry done.
Oh, absolutely.
They're probably never, hopefully they will live long enough to really to sit and drink them whiskies in the year to come. Our aged whiskey in Ireland is really coming into its own now. I really think that we can stand up and we can shout it from the rooftops. And these two things put it on another level and put it on another pedestal.
This is on par with any other whiskey on these islands. Yeah, and certainly it is the oldest, Irish whiskey collection in the world. Yeah. And we're only in chapter 2 now. And there's going to be another 4 chapters culminating in 2025, which will be 200 years of Middleton Distillery. So 200 years of Middleton Distillery, but I'm part of an organisation, a distilling tradition going back over 240 years, since 1779. It's just incredible.
The craftsmanship in crafting the whiskey was something else, but the craftsmanship in the cabinets is second to none. I mean, they are exceptional.
Beautifully created.
Exceptional.
Look at this. This is silver. This is real silver. Not silver plated. Silver. And these boxes are made from
walnut. These are walnut, and they're ash. I think they are. No ash. No, I can't remember that one. I know this one was a
well, beautiful wood. I'm sorry.
I ain't no carpenter.
I think I know. I hopefully know a bit about whiskey. I'm not much of an expert on.
The cabinets are fantastic in the fact that you have the plate on one side showcasing the cask numbers on them. Again, that was one of the topics of conversation the other night about what cask number was. Kevin was talking about the cask numbers, but the craftsmanship in doing that, the engraved plaques with the name on them.
Again, silver, not plated, not lovely, beautiful, polished stainless steel. This is silver. Handmade cabinets, Waterford crystal decanters. They're just stunning.
I have said out loud, and I'm on record as saying it, that I believe that this one, Silent Distillery number 1, will be the first €100,000 bottle of Irish whiskey. I think it's ideal for that sort of level of growth, because there's only 48 of them. There's 70 bottles of number 2.
That's right. And again, it's because they are, I suppose, reflective of the whiskies that have been produced in Middleton over the decades. And you think about it, this is a sherry, but it's a single malt whiskey. This is on its journey through its life of its 46 years, laid down in 1974 as well by Max Crockett. Same year, just a year older. But it had a journey through a bourbon cask, a sherry cask, and a port pipe. I know you're very excited about port pipes, don't you?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we both myself and Katie love port finished whiskies. Again, haven't been lucky enough to taste that.
Will we open it and try it?
No.
Okay.
These are definitely in the auction. I think that the potential buyer would expect them. No, and I think that they're expecting that too. I don't think we can. No, I think that's.
Well, each bottle comes with. I'm not even going to.
Yeah, I'll open that. The magnets and this is quite tough. So each bottle of number 2 also comes with a sample, which is sealed as well, of the liquid that is in the number 2 Silent Distillery. Again, even the workmanship in that, the little plaque has got its engraving on it. I mean, it is just, the whole thing screams.
It says Irish craftsmanship at its best. We're famous for Waterford. We're famous for our crystal, I should say. There's lots of Waterford crystal is probably
it was the flag bearer for years, for many years. And the cabinets
by
carpentry.
That master craftsman, Mr. Galvin. It's just absolutely stunning. And then the whiskey. What does that say? The whiskey is stunning because your expectation when you try these is you could go and go, It's old. It's a very old whiskey.
Yeah.
But I was absolutely wowed by it, and I've no problem in saying that it is. Chapter 1 just blew me away.
Well,
I was just stunned by it.
Again,
It's
one of the
how
things that
amazing
you
it was.
don't expect in an age statement, in that age statement whiskey, is the freshness. 51.2% ABV,
Yeah.
again, a very high ABV at what it was.
I was explaining that the casks at that time would have been filled at a higher ABV than we fill today.
Okay.
So the ABV, if they were filled today, it might be a bit lower if it was at the same 63.4% that we fill our casks now today. But at that time, it could have been 67%.
And it was just different production processes.
It's
It wasn't
just a different,
different.
yeah.
Okay.
You know,
One of the things as well that I've mentioned a few is the reference in the bottle design to the modern releases that we have in Middleton Very Rare, Middleton Single Casks.
you would know by looking at that that's a Middleton bottle,
yeah.
and you can see throughout all of the range from Middleton Very Rare vintage release, Barry Crockett, Dargwaylock, Middleton Very Rare Dargwaylock, and you look at the single casks that are those beautiful single casks that are out there from Middleton Very Rare as well, and the Silent Distillery Collection. You know it's Middleton.
Yeah, and I think that's great. So that again, the price point that these are, they're not for everybody. They were never going to be for everybody. There is only a select few. Number 48, in fact, there's been one open that we finished the other night. Thank God, it was a bottle kill of all bottle kills.
Yeah, there's two I know that are opened and have been drank that I know personally because I've seen them.
Yeah.
And you'd really hope there's more. Like, certainly might be a little bit out of my price range, but from the point of view of there are people out there that do enjoy, enjoy such beautiful things like this in their life, and they want to open these whiskies and drink them, and I have to salute them. It's a
absolutely.
wonderful thing.
Again, because we've tasted them, we know what it's like. Number 2 is going to be really interesting. I was talking to Kevin the other night, and he was saying that the finish in that is unbelievable, considering again it's 46 years of age.
I may never know.
I'm sure you'll be in a position at some stage.
I feel really privileged to have tried chapter 1, and certainly chapter 2. I hope at one point to get to try it, and certainly there is another 4 chapters to come in this story, and
I think it all, for me, as I said, I do think this is going to be the first 100,000 euro bottle of whiskey. I mean, I talk from me and you live in two different worlds, and that you're dealing with the here and now market. I'm looking at the investment market. People, when they further on in their journey and they maybe secure number 3, number 4, maybe number 5, they're always going to look for number 1. And I've seen it in so many collections now. We talk about the Dargwaylock one, the Dargwaylock Grinselswood. Everybody had the latter bottles, but everybody went mad then looking for the number 1s. I've seen it in other brands as well.
At the time, we didn't.
It wasn't on people's radar.
It wasn't on people's radar.
Exactly.
Irish whiskey is in a very different place.
It was
from
5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And
the fact that we have these, do you think that it? I mean, I don't want to know the ins and outs of, but the planning for this, was this a decision that when you think the decision was made, lads, we've got this stock, let's do something really, really special with it? And what they've done, as I said, the six bottles they're going to be. When do you think that was made? Was that?
Oh, this is in the planning for a very long time.
Yeah.
And the idea behind this was essentially to liberate this whiskey from warehouse A2.
Yeah.
We have a warehouse in Middleton. It's an old dunnage warehouse. It is absolutely stunning. The sounds, the smells in there, the low ceilings, and all of these casks. It's just full of casks like this. And when I mean full, I mean there's maybe about 10 of them, and they're there laid around. But like once the Silent Distillery is over, there isn't any more.
That's one of the things that Kevin said, that there is no more aged stock from the old Middleton Distillery. That to do anything else with. They're all being put into this project.
But the good news is that we opened a brand new distillery.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't as if they just stopped. It was a gulf. I mean, no.
But from the original 1825 Middleton Distillery, the Silent Distillery Collection, these 6 whiskies, 6 chapters, will be the last whiskey from that collection.
One of the challenges that I know from talking to you is that aged stock is getting tougher and tougher because just the demand has increased so much.
Absolutely.
So it is, again, special that we have these 2 bottles, and the subsequent
Well,
years coming out.
if you think about it, I know that when I was working in the company, when I started in the company, we still had barrels aging underneath Connolly Station.
Right.
So if you think about it, and they went into brands, you know, they could have gone into 1780, they could have gone, and like they would have probably, they would have come from John's Lane.
Yeah.
You know, isn't it absolutely incredible that, you know, you have this connection with the past, but there is, it is really the foresight of people like Max Crockett, Barry Crockett, you know, Brian and Kevin in the future, that they had the foresight to lay this stuff down when there wasn't a market for it. No one was really drinking Irish whiskey, and we are just very, very privileged and lucky to have these incredibly, where it's it is definitely the oldest Irish whiskey collection in the world.
It's the pinnacle of Irish whiskey. And I mean, these are, I know you use that tagline in the Middleton Very Rare portfolio, but these are the pinnacle. And I mean, I'm just blown away the fact that we have them
to get across how rare this is.
Really,
and really, it just is not there. It doesn't exist because there was no one else producing whiskey, you know, and it's brilliant now. It gives. I love meeting people in the industry, and there's distilleries from, you know, Carasivine to, you know, to Antrim to, you know, there's everywhere, and it's brilliant, and that just shows the vibrancy, the growth of Irish whiskey, and really, at the time these were laid down, it wasn't a vibrant time, and it's just, we're just really so lucky. I'm just trying to get across that.
You are. I mean,
they're like celebrities. I was saying that to you.
Yeah,
I feel like there's two celebrities in the house.
It's. I mean, we've had a few people, because we're filming here in Bow Street. We've had a few people come in and look at them, taking photos with them. They're just literally that rare. It is exceptional. We're blessed as Irish Whiskey Auctions to have them in our auction. I mean, it was just an opportunity that came our way. We initially had number 2, and then somebody reached out with number 1. It's exceptional that we have it there. We also have bottle number 1 for Middleton Very Rare, kindly donated by yourselves.
So our neighbours here, the Capuchin Day Centre on Bow Street, are literally our neighbours here, and they are just such a wonderful charity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is a privilege, and I can also say that Anthony and Katie and all at Irish Whiskey Auctions have waived all their fees and are going to deliver
free gratis
to wherever it has to go.
And we throw in the commission as well. But I mean, again, it's
so generous.
It's having bottle number 1. Bottle number 1 has, in the 39-year releases, or the 39 bottle releases, number 1 has never been released. It's always gone to a senior exec within IDL.
Well, it's been given to someone as a gift that would.
It is phenomenal that we have that. And again, I think they sit well. We had them on display when we were doing our videos in the office of 1 and 2, and the middle, very rare in the middle, and it's just exceptional to see.
Well, dig deep and make sure you dig deep, bid as high as possible on this wonderful charity.
We'll get as much as possible. Ger Garland, as always, I could stand and listen to you talk.
We can shake hands
these days. It is an absolute privilege to be where we are talking about these bottles. It's a privilege to have them, and it's a privilege talking to you. As I say, I could do it.
Thank you to Kevin O'Gorman for giving us permission to film in one of his warehouses.
Yeah, exactly. It is special. It really is special. So bottle number 1, bottle number 2 is ending in our March auction on Sunday the 20th of March at 7 p.m. Hopefully they should go for a fairly hefty price. I'm not preempting it, but I think they deserve a fairly hefty price, and it'll be the lucky 2 owners that'll have these bottles, or maybe the lucky 1 owner will buy both of them, we don't know. But so that's ending on Sunday night. We will be back talking to you at some stage soon. Thank you very much, Jeff.
My pleasure.
Cheers, guys.
See you.